your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
This is where it happens. Long hikes with friends, kayaking adventures with family, more horseback riding, zip line gliding, rock face climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and across the prairie, here beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and the state.
This is the TeamMates Mentoring Hour, coming at you live from the Chevrolet GMC studio and online at theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour. I am Harrison Arns running the board here. We got a full studio in here today. We got Christine, Alec, Ed, all in studio here with us. And you guys join the show, starting him at text line 402-464-5685, as well as we're streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Allo Channel 951 for all those who want to put a face to the voice. Great way to do so. But again, it's going to be a full show here. But before we get going here, shout out to our sponsors here. We do want to shout them out. Teammates Mentoring Hour is proudly co-sponsored by Wingstop, proudly helping team mentors the training process to make Lincoln and the surrounding area a better place with teammates. Order your own wings online at wingstop.com at any of their 3 locations, and definitely do that. I'm a big fan of their lemon pepper wings. Always good stop by Wingstop. But now that we got all the housekeeping out of the way, like I said before, we got a full show in here today. We're just going to go around the room first, kind of get to know everyone. But first, we do have Ed Zimmer. He is the Teammates mentor for Alec in studio here with us. So Ed, why don't you go ahead and give us a little bit of your background and maybe how you got involved with Teammates. I know you've been involved for quite a while.
I think I go back about 12 or 15 years. I was on the school board for 19 years, and I thought I might get involved in Teammates after that, but came across information in my board packet one week, which I get every week, and there was a young man at a school near my office who described himself as a wrestler, but had only ever won 1 match. And it occurred to me, I would be the only possible mentor he could have who was a worse wrestler than he was. I wrestled in high school and I won no matches. So, maybe there's something happening here. Yeah, he's near my office and he's a wrestler and I'm not. And so that was my first match all those years ago. And there's a connection, and we may develop that. To my current match, to that young guy who I was with for 6-7 years in the program. Mm-hmm. He graduated, and we stayed in touch, and I still have a degree of touch with him as a young man grown up and married with kids.
Yeah, that's incredible. And you hear that story a lot. It's by no means necessary you have to stay in touch, but it seems more often than not. We'll kind of keep going around the room here, getting to know everyone. Alec, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and then your involvement, getting involved with Teammates and what's kind of been like, Ed here being one of your mentors.
Yeah, I'm Alec. How I got involved in it was back in elementary school, I believe, back in 4th grade, where my teacher was like, your grades aren't doing the best. You're not doing the best in school. Hate to say it, but they introduced me to the Teammates people, and they set me up right away. And then I got with my old teammate, which with him for 4 years, I believe. Mm-hmm. And then he had to stopped being a mentor because he got a truck driving job, which means he would be driving around a lot, moving states, and all that. And funnily enough, it made me meet Ed Zimmer, and he was my old teammate, Cody, teammate. So Ed is my grand teammate, if you so will. So
I like that title, grand teammate. That's a good one. We're going to keep going around the room here, and I do want to dive back into that later in the show. We'll keep going here. And Christine Davis, the lead trainer for Teammates, a little bit of your background and how you've been involved with Teammates.
Yep. Well, I'm like everybody in a nonprofit. I do a lot of different things, but training is one of the things I'm pretty excited about. And by the way, just another shout out to Wingstop, because Friday night is our evening training this month, and Wingstop pays basically for a meal for every mentor who comes in for training.
Oh, there you go.
And that's all. I'm telling you, it's crazy. We get there's no other training we offer. It gets every seat full, and they all show up.
That's for bringing Wingstop.
Yeah, we're so happy about it. But anyway, it's sort of fun and interesting because you get to meet all these mentors on the front end, about what he brought to kind of beginning his mentoring life. And maybe sometime, during the show, we can talk about who's at that training table, because it's not who you think. It's such a wide variety of people.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. And, you hear that all the time. And you're kind of speaking of, needing mentors. I know you have it on here that last year we were actually able to get, if I can find the number here, I believe it was in the 40s, 24. Oh, I can definitely beat that number. 24 challenge for, that's just ticket listeners that applied though. You got 24 of the ticket listeners. And again, it's a great cause. And when you're thinking about this, wanting to be a mentor, what are you asking? Because I think a lot of people get skeptical thinking, man, do I have the time? Do I know what I'm even talking about? Am I right to teach these kids? What are you asking of these mentors? Because I know you're not teaching them, help them with their homework, help them with algebra. What are you asking from your teammate mentors?
You bet. Well, it's pretty simple. All we're asking is, can you give an hour a week to form a friendship? Done. End of sentence. And I think a lot of people do have misconceptions about what's going to be expected of them. It's an in-school, during the day kind of program where you are being dependable for that person and following them and committing. Yep, it's a long term. So you're going to be with them. Average in our program for a mentor is about 3 years. But a lot of people, like Ed was just describing, are mentors longer than that, because we hope they'll accompany that student all the way through graduation. And the most common thing I hear, honestly, from mentors is, I wish I would have started sooner. I don't know why I waited so long. I'm getting more out of it than they are, I think. I hope they're getting as much as I'm getting out of it. That's probably one of the most common things I hear.
Yeah. And, I'll kind of caveat to that. It's not just Teammates is great, but there's a lot of organizations. There's Big Brother, Big Sisters, Teammates, obviously. And there's another one, I'm blanking on the name, but out of all those organizations, a lot of these people that give their time for some of these charity services, they get a lot out of it. And, it's not necessarily I'm giving my time. They end up giving their time, but getting a lot back. So Ed, I kind of want to ask you about that. When you're deciding to get involved with Teammates, were you skeptical at all? And once it actually started happening, you've been through, a full year, what did you get out of that was maybe unexpected?
The key words that I like Christine used is that showing up. And that seems so simple, but that really is the task, that you come every week. And you may have a great meeting. You may have a pretty dull meeting. It's a human interaction. You bring whatever you bring in, but it's also a dynamic of your mentee, and really it takes, in my experience, some duration of time. It isn't that you walk in and you're a hero on the first day. You're not supposed to be. You're supposed to show up. You're supposed to care. You're supposed to listen, and so it really is a development process, and pretty much the longer the better, because you've got more shared experience. I'm learning a lot about music from Alec. I know very little. He knows a lot, and that's often what we're talking about. I can't teach him anything about music, but I can show up.
Sure.
I also get to go to his concerts, and that's pretty darn cool.
I've got curious. I want to ask about those concerts later. But real quick, before we move on to Alec here, you got watch Cody, your former teammate, all the way through graduation. So obviously it's a great experience. So after doing that, going all the way through the graduation, what was that sign to you that, you know what, I'm going to keep doing this?
Well, it was rewarding. It was with the period of time you get to see growth, and that, in a young person, something really, really lovely to see. I've had 4 matches. I wouldn't boast about they were all smashing successes. One fan moved out of town.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I didn't chase him out of town, but we lost that match. Kid I liked a lot.
That's just life, though, right?
That's life. Sometimes the transition from middle school to high school. I'm not as interesting as lunch with your friends. And at that particular high school, that was the assigned slot. And it really just became a matter that it was time to end that match because I could show that he didn't want to.
It was like
And so there's that variety. You've got to take what comes.
Absolutely. So Alec, when you were first getting involved, teammates, actually, having that mentor be there for you, what were those first few weeks kind of like? Because Ed said it himself, right? It's a human interaction. It's not going to be crazy fun day one. There's a chance, but it's not always likely. So what was kind of that first few interactions like?
With Ed, since I had a mutual agreement with Cody,
Mm-hmm.
it was definitely a lot easier to connect with him on first basis because he was Cody's teammate. So there was already some common things there. But with Cody, it was definitely awkward, me being little,
Mm-hmm.
like probably 8-ish, around there. With a college student, it was just a little awkward at first. And like over the first 3 meetings, he would engage in conversation because I was that shy kid who
Right.
didn't want anything to do with it. But over time, I grew closer to Cody, and it was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like that always happens. It's an organic kind of thing, and I think that's why it lasts so long, right? It's an organic kind of slow build, but those tend to last a lot longer. But you mentioned something about being a musician, and Ed's learning a lot. What is kind of your background in music?
Well, my family is mostly musicians. They didn't go into a career or anything with them, but they do have a lot of music background. And my older sister actually started playing the cello before me, and she would let me pluck on it, play with it because I'm a little kid. I'm interested in whatever my older sister
Right.
is doing, normal sibling activities. And then I took a liking to it. I like music. I like listening to it. The biggest contributor to me the cello is mostly my sister, but also the Game of Thrones soundtrack.
Nice. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Great series.
Yeah, that's all like cello music a lot. So it's just like I like it. It's a nice, deep, rich tone. Has you can convey your with the music really well. So it was definitely a liberating experience learning the cello. There was hardships because at one point, I believe it was when I was in elementary school, I was the only cello. So it was only one person, little old me, not confident at all in my playing abilities. It was not good. Not a good time.
Yeah, but that's how you got to get through it, right? You start somewhere.
Yeah.
So right now, I take it you're still playing the cello, and then outside of that, is there anything other in the music world that you're really interested in getting to, or is it just mainly focused on mastering the cello?
Mastering the cello.
That's a good one. I'd imagine that's a hard instrument to master. Ed, kind of talking to you, what's that like? You said you're learning a lot of things about music, and what is the kind of that experience? I feel like that's one of the great things about teammates is you get to learn a lot about just different individuals. So what has that experience been like for you, just learning more about Alec, the whole music industry? Has that been exciting for you and all that kind of banter?
Well, I think it demonstrates in teammates, you're more a listener than a talker. And I can't play the cello. I don't know what those different strings do. I have some sense of what his fingers are up to, but it's something that Alex is passionate and knowledgeable about, and so I think it's a kind of a perfect topic because he knows and I don't,
Yeah.
and that's a good direction in teammates. Um, Back in elementary, and one of the key things I gained from Cody was Alec liked to play games, and he liked to make up games. And so when we started back in middle school, we were playing with cards, but we weren't playing by any rules of card games. We were inventing card games, and we started with the most basic, most boring war. You just put down cards and you pick them up, and you've got to go somewhere from there because that just really is not any fun. And so we started putting our twists in it. I enjoyed that we were in the media center. Friends would come by and be looking at what we were doing, and nobody could make any sense of what this was because it was our own rules. And part of our rules were elegance. When we get to a face-to-face, whoever poses the more elegant solution wins. So finally, we started just telling them, well, we're not playing war. We're playing diplomacy. That was a nice moment.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Yeah, go ahead. I cut you off there.
Nah, it's all good. There was also in the diplomacy game, we also put some poker rules to it.
Okay.
Because I'm into poker. I won't like actually play it for gambling or anything, but it's just like a cool concept.
Yeah, it's still fun
So
game.
like whenever we got to a face-off, we would put down like 3-5 cards and then just be like poker rules. It's definitely interesting.
That's incredible. And I feel like, you say it all the time, but the teammates that have so many people on that list that, there's a variety of interests and hobbies. And if you're really curious, and Christine, I know you brought a list in, and you got plenty of names on there with all sorts of different hobbies. And then I don't know if you have an actual number, but do you know how many kids you have on the wait list right now?
There are 500 kids.
500 kids on the wait list.
Yep, we served 1,206 matches last year.
Oh, wow. And
Yeah.
you're still at 500 on the list.
Yep.
And that kind of tells you right there. And Teammates does a great job. You can go to the website, but they have all sorts of stats that do show you that there's a lot of benefits to joining Teammates. The kids, not all the time, but way more often. They're going to do better if they kind of have that mentorship in their life. When you're trying to get, more mentors, trying to get to really think about it, what's kind of an elevator pitch? You have them, they're listening to the radio right now, and they're really thinking about joining, but they're a little skeptical. What's an elevator pitch to kind of help them make sure that this is a good decision and it's only going to benefit you and the mentee as well?
Yep. What I can say is if you're looking for a way to make a difference in a child's life, I don't think there's a more fun and easy way to do that.
Absolutely. And then I'm going to ask you
Becoming a
that
mentor.
that same thing before we go to break here.
I'd say that, but also you get to be directly in the activity of a school day with that one individual, but you're in that atmosphere of learning and children and growth, and you've got a little stake in it. It's a one-to-one stake, but I was on the board for all those years. I was ready for that personal contact, and Teammates couldn't be more personal. It's one mentee, one mentor, 1 hour a week, and so you're just right there, and it's such a key part of the community to say you got a piece of stake in that big enterprise through that one relationship. I think that's a precious thing as well.
Absolutely. And I think that's a good way to go ahead and go to our first break right here. So again, if you're curious, please just go check it out. Go to Teammates, the Teammates website. The Teammates website just for all those.
Yeah, Lincoln Teammates.
LincolnTeammates.org. So again, please go to LincolnTeammates.org for all those. We do have it on the ticker as well for all those watching. Check it out if you're curious. More information there, but we'll go ahead and throw it to break. Again, this is the Teammates Mentoring Hour. I'm Harrison running the board. We got Ed, Alec, and Christine all in studio here with us. We'll catch you guys on the other side of the break.
Don't go any more of the Teammates Mentoring Hour is minutes away on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Proud to be voted Best Vape Shop.
Generation V.
Location is now open at 27th and Superior.
Generation V.
Explore the largest selection of vape, Delta 8, Kratom, all your favorite brands of disposables, liquid, and premium THCA. Collect. You find the perfect fit.
Generation
Visit our newest store, now open at generationv.com. E6 contain nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Situations in life arise, the business feels anything but for your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, as they do with customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740. Attention all Wings fans! 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings. You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for sewer gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
You've driven by GE Landscape Supply countless times, likely without even knowing, at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. Now it's time to stop in. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. They sell in bulk to save you money, and you can buy anything from a 5-gallon bucket to a semi-load. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere. Stop by 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Go to gelandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
Nutrition Authority invites you to save 35 to 75% off at our back-to-school blowout. We're taking our better-than-internet prices and cutting them even deeper, bringing you the biggest sale of the season. Monday, August 14th through 19th, the back-to-school blowout is on at Nutrition Authority. For location information, check us out at mynutritionauthority.com.
You deserve the best. With the Liberty First MasterCard, you can pay down your high-rate debt and could save hundreds when you transfer the balance. The for fees, no cash advance fees, and no annual fee. And with a fixed rate as low as 9.99% APR and you choose rewards, you'll be able to manage your card your way. Visit libertyfirstcu.com. Rates and terms are based on your credit and subject to change. Federally insured by NCUA. Liberty First. Purpose.
General contractors, business owners, property owners. The success of your business requires doing business with the right people. And the right people, when it comes to drywall, acoustical ceilings, and specialty products, are at Premier Drywall. Kevin and his crew will give your project the response and attention it deserves.
You'll get all of the attention to detail and quality that you would expect from someone who's been in the business for 30 years. For your new builds, build-outs, or renovations, reach out to Kevin. Kevin at PremierDW.com. Premier Drywall in Lincoln.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Our lives only have so much time. But if you smoke, you have less. Your life could be shorter. And the time you do have is often shortness of breath, COPD, and cancer. The minute you quit, you're bummed.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association at this station.
This is Bud Seinhorst, President and CEO of LIBA, the Lincoln Independent Business Association. Join us every Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket for the LIBA Business Hour, as we discuss local business and highlight those who are thriving in the Lincoln area. It's the LIBA Business Hour, Saturdays from 9 to 10 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is the TeamMates Mentoring Hour on 93.7 Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, well, back into the Teammates Mentoring Hour. I am Harrison Arns running the board. And again, we got in studio Ed, Alec, Christine, all part teammates in here with us today. And again, be sure to be paying attention to the streams because in about 30 seconds, 40 seconds here, we're going to be switching over on the FM airwaves to the Kansas City Royals. So again, be sure to stay plugged in on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Allo Channel 951. Great way to put a face to the voice and stay engaged in the show. But during the break, we kind of talked about some of the wait lists going on for not only the mentors, the students needing a mentor. And Christine, I want to talk to you about that because I was shocked by the wait list, not necessarily the wait list, but the time for some of these students, just simply because you just need more mentors. But go ahead and talk about that because I thought it was really good information you gave over the break.
Well, you know, the average wait for boys in our program is 1,020 days. Okay. That's like 3 years. I looked up for Alec before he was matched the first time. He waited over 400 days from the time he was nominated till he actually got Cody as his mentor was over 400 days. It was a lot shorter for when he got Ed. So that's really hard for everyone in our office because we want every one of those kids to have a mentor. So it's not really the bottleneck isn't really on our side, on the teammates side. It's really just we need more people to step up and do this really gratifying work. When from the time you apply to become a teammates mentor until you are assigned to a school is just about 1 month. It's a quick turnaround. And for those kids right now who are waiting, it is a thrill when they get the news that they have a mentor.
Absolutely. Alec, I kind of want to talk to you about that, you know, being on that wait list. And then obviously you get to link up with Ed, which I'm sure was awesome for you. But what was kind of the experience like not waiting and then finally getting that match?
Well, to be honest, I don't really remember waiting that long. It didn't feel
Hi,
that
everyone.
long.
Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive.
In my opinion, it didn't feel like it was 400 days. So I was kind of surprised to hear that. It felt a lot quicker, but that could have just been like the school year, like, you know, going with friends and hanging out in the school. But like at first I was kind of skeptical about teammates because over the break I said my sister was in the teammates thing before, but sadly enough, her teammate moved just suddenly without any like sort of notification of that. So my sister kind of didn't like teammates, which kind of, you know, influenced, you know, their younger brother opinion about it. So I was kind of skeptical at first. And then, you know, slowly after meeting up with Cody, it kind of changed my opinion about teammates where like they can't control some things, obviously, because he got a job at a trucking company. He just couldn't like be there. I don't know the situation about what my sister's situation was, but and things happen, and sometimes you have to accept that.
Yeah, absolutely. What was that day like when you finally did get to match up with Ed? And that first day when, you know, you finally got that link and you said you kind of forgot about it because it had been so long. But nonetheless, you know, what was that day like for you?
It was great because I knew that Ed has been Cody's teammate. So I kind of knew that he was a teammate. He kind of knew how all this worked, while as Cody kind of was new to it. I think I was his first match, I believe. So he kind of was like a little skeptical about some things. He didn't really understand how the process worked and all.
Right.
So, but like Cody is great. I still love him to this day, platonically, obviously. But like he's a great dude. He's nice. Ed is even nicer in my opinion.
Sorry, Cody.
I'm sorry, Cody, but
I'm
nicer.
older.
He's wiser and all this other great stuff. Both people are great. I'm sure everyone at Teammates is also great. Definitely recommend to join up. From a student's point of view, for like for a mentor coming from a student's view, it's definitely gratifying to the student where, you know, you have 1 hour just to like sit, relax, not really have to worry about school, family, or anything. It's just like you're hanging out with a friend. And it's really nice to have that
Yeah.
in your day-to-day life.
Absolutely. And Christine, I kind of want to ask you this because it does puzzle me a little bit because it's not saying that's not true because you guys have stats to back it up. But why is that 1 hour of just hanging out so effective? It seems to just have great results for all those involved.
Right. Well, here's the thing I think about sometimes. Okay, not to suggest anybody in here, not saying anything, but think about a couple things that people do 1 hour a week
Mhm.
that really impact their lives. The two things that come to my mind are therapy and church. Okay. For many people, that's a 1 hour a week kind of an experience. Having the regularity of that and a sort of a structure to create a lens for you to look at your life, it just makes a difference. And all the research supports it. Jim Bennett, our coordinator, if he were here, he'd talk about this in terms of his juvenile justice past. And the two things that make a big difference for kids in that realm are therapy and mentoring. That
wow.
feeling that someone cares, someone is reliably there that doesn't have to be there. They're doing this of their own free will. They want to hang out with me. It is impactful, very impactful.
Absolutely. And I agree with you 100% on that. But Ed, I want to get your opinion as well. You've been doing it for a while now, but what is it to you that makes that 1 hour just so beneficial for that, rest of the year, as long as you do it?
It's a little bit magic because it's not real tangible. But I think the regularity, the just show up. One thing that sometimes gets not emphasized, I think, enough, the schools are glad to see you. You're not doing the hard, heavy work that the professional educators are doing, but you're welcome. From the secure entrance monitor to the office to the librarian, whoever you come to the classroom, we make a point, Alec and I, of making sure that we've gone and kind of nodded to the classroom teacher that I'm there with my teammates badge and we're going to be spending the hour. And it's always been that appreciative that we're doing that, even though we're taking that hour of class time away or they don't call it study hall anymore, but whatever that's called. But they're invested in it too. They respect it and they welcome it. But just I get to see a friend once a week for that hour. So it's a two-way relationship. It's a very it's good for people to be in contact with other people. We're social animals. It's part of how we're together, and it doesn't take more than that hour. It also makes it's kind of controlled. We may talk about something pretty deep. We don't. We stop at the end of the hour. He's got a day. He's got a school day to do, and I've got whatever else I'm doing. We'll be back the next week. So we know we can rely on each other that way, but it's got a limit on it. There's kind of a little box around it, and it's kind of special.
Yeah, and I like how you mentioned too, it's that face-to-face interaction. I think today we kind of lose that a lot. Just everything being able, you can do basically everything on your phone now. It makes those face-to-face interactions just not as much. And I think you guys are all absolutely right. And we need some of that face-to-face interaction, especially with someone who's just there to care for you. So again, LincolnTeamMates.org. For any of those that are curious, you get more information there. But just kind of continue. I know you did train 80 people this summer. And let's kind of talk about that quick turnaround time you can get on some of that training, because you said it before, there is a list. We still need more mentors. The numbers are going up, but we still can get more in there. So how quick is that training process? You said it's usually about 2 weeks to train, but a full month to kind of get the background checks and everything figured out.
Yep. Process is you submit an application, references, background check, that all gets in process. During that time, you can sign up to train. We've got, I'd offer Friday's training, but it's full. And but we do have
That's
another
a good problem to have.
We've got another one coming up on the 24th of August. We've got another one coming up on the 13th of September, another one coming up on the 22nd of September. So we're trying to offer 3 to 4 trainings every, and a different time of day, different days of the week, just to meet people's needs that way. But once that happens, and people come into training, even with some apprehensions.
Right.
I think, oh man, I got to be like I don't know, a psychologist or something, or I've got to have my own kids and really be a good at everything. And they leave feeling like, oh my gosh, I just have to be myself. And I think that's another piece of it we haven't really touched on, but that authenticity and that relationship with another person who is just themselves, being who they are, I think also, I hope, helps young people know I'm enough. I am perfectly great human being and I can make mistakes and all kinds of stuff. And this guy keeps coming back and it's good. It's unconditional.
Yeah, it's that authenticity,
Yeah,
and it's one
yeah.
thing you guys,
It's a big
that
part of it.
program does a really great job of. But before we go to break, Alec, I kind of want to talk to you. You've been through this teammates. You're heading into your senior year now. What is this kind of whole experience been like? Having teammates on your back as well. How has that been going through high school with teammates? You're heading into your year. What's kind of the excitement for you?
Well, I'm very excited that I am going to graduate soon. But it'll be even better knowing that just someone who didn't choose really, like, he didn't have to be there for me, but that I hope to see him on my graduation day there if he decides to choose to come. Of course. He doesn't. It's just unconditional. I'm not saying you have to, but you have to.
I'm not on the board anymore. I can't hand you the diploma.
Yeah.
I did that with Cody.
Oh, you actually got to hand one of your mentees his diploma.
I did.
Oh, an incredible experience.
That was cool.
We got a little bit of time. Do you want to just go ahead and give him that story? That's because you might, obviously you won't get to hand Alec the diploma, but you'll get some of that same experience watching him and graduate. But what was just kind of that feeling like watching Cody graduate? You got a little extra being able to hand him the diploma. But what was that feeling? You said it yourself. You got to, maybe it's a one-off steak, but you got one steak in there.
It's a joyous thing. I always enjoyed on the board. I always enjoyed graduations. You got to see all those excited families, excited people, but you got that little touch of shaking a hand, or if it was somebody who didn't culturally shake hands, giving them a nod of recognition and handing them that folder that said they'd gotten there. I did it with my 3 children. Those were magic moments, and with Cody it was as well. I will be there for graduation. I won't get to hand it to you, but that isn't teammates. It's I'll show up. That's what we do. We show up.
Yeah, that's all I can ask.
And that's what you've done all through. You've shown up with Cody. You've shown up with me, and that's the transaction. Be there, and then we'll see how we can move forward.
Yeah, and that's a lot of the beauty of teammates, and you guys all said it there very well. Show up, be yourself, be authentic, and that's really all it takes as far as the mentor side. And it turns out to be not only beneficial for you, but for the mentee, and it turns out to be just an awesome experience for everyone involved. So again, go to lincolnteammates.org to get any more information on that. We'll go ahead and throw it to break. Again, this is Teammates Mentoring Hour. You can chime in on the Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685, as well as streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Allo Channel 951. We'll catch you guys on the other side of the break.
More of the minutes away. 93.7 the TeamMates.com.
Culture is the economic engine of the Midwest. We dedicate ourselves to making that engine run smoothly. We supply our farmers and ranchers with quality John Deere equipment, parts, and service. We also deliver the most advanced technology and precision ag strategies to help them farm today and for the future. Acres Equipment, solutions for every field.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has come to the attention of the Nebraska Lottery that when people hear a radio commercial in their car for one of our lotto games, Powerball, Mega Millions, or Lucky for Life, they tend to begin to how if they win instead of. So please, lotto games offer big money and big fun. Keep your mind on driving. Do not start thinking about all the things you could buy if you win. Things like bright red sports cars, tropical vacations, 100-inch TVs, hot tubs, SUVs, a new computer, motorboats.
Bob, snap out of it.
Oh, good heavens. Ladies and gentlemen, my apologies. Perhaps I should go home now.
You better let me drive.
Lotto games from the Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11 per hour, which grows to $28.27 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.70 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits. And prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here. Summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
Steve's Garage Doors and Services is hiring. They are looking for a garage door installation and service technician with a clean driving record. Experience is not required as they will train for the positions. However, technical aptitude is rare. If you want to come be a part of a small business where your family, not just an employee, call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today to apply at 402-2840. That's 480-2840. Steve's Garage Doors and Services.
This Easter, focus on your family instead of dishes with the Venue Easter to-go meals. Prepared fresh in-house by our chefs, these meals are ready to heat and eat. With packages for 2 to 3 people or 6 to 8, and your choice of juicy beef tenderloin, tasty herb roasted chicken, or our famous 6-pepper crusted prime rib. All meal packages come with sides, and we have additional add-ons available to complete your feast. Order today at venuedelivered.com/Easter. That's venuedelivered.com/Easter.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
This is the TeamMates Mentoring Hour. The ticket and
All right, to the final segment of this week's show for the TeamMates Hour, but be sure to tune in next week. Again, this is starting a show every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. from here on out, right here on 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com. And again, we covered a lot of great stuff, so if you any of it, go to ticketfm.com. They're probably around 8 o'clock tonight in case you missed any of the good information. But as I said, we don't have a ton of time here, maybe about 7 minutes or so. Christina brought up a lot of great points over the give you the floor and get through all these final, house cleaning before we get out of here.
Okay. Well, real quick, Alec reminded me of something. Alec, you want to just say what you said?
Yeah. Before the break, we were talking about how we were like looking into like showing up as a mentor and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But I want to make it a point where it's okay to miss weeks with your teammate, as like you can communicate with the school and your mentor and mentee that it is okay to miss weeks. Like me and Ed have missed multiple weeks and we're fine with it. We've communicated with each other about it. So
yeah,
that's good to know.
We kind of have a standard program wide. We try 24 or more school year, 36 weeks in the school year. So you got to have, people have kids, they have all kinds of stuff going on in their lives.
Yeah,
so,
illnesses, it can be anything. Life happens.
Yep, absolutely. So, well, I wanted to throw out a few high priority kids that we're trying to get matched, just in case there's someone listening that says, bang, that's my kid. And that's kind of how it happens. And you'll notice when I talk about these kids, we're talking about kinds of things they like to do, because we really do try to get a connection, a point of connection with every mentor. We're very, very careful about matching. And so here's one, fifth grade boy. Colton is a fifth grader in South Lincoln. He was new to Lincoln last year, and starting new friendships has been difficult. Colton's dad lives out of town, so he doesn't get as much time with him as he would like. He's an outdoorsman and an avid fisherman.
Oh, there you go.
He also likes sports and hopes his mentor will shoot hoops with him and do art activities. He describes himself as curious, competitive, and future thinking, and he's been waiting for 208 days. So he must have gotten nominated last year at some point. And to the point Alec raised, from the time a child is nominated until they get matched, sometimes the child doesn't know they've been nominated until a match is imminent.
But read another one. You know, you reading the last one kind of got me thinking,
Okay.
like, man, this is working. I was like, Kid Alex basketball.
I want that one.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got a seventh grader in North Lincoln. He describes himself as adventurous, curious, and outgoing, and someday he hopes to become a zookeeper.
Oh,
I
that's
kinda called
awesome.
John Chapo. See what he's not. Anyway, Landon struggles with his peers, and his teachers hope a mentor will help him develop age-appropriate social skills. Landon enjoys sports and board games, both of which he hopes his mentor will play with him. Landon has been waiting for 1,021 days.
Oh, wow.
For a mentor.
Yeah, I see. It's great that you read those. Not only do you realize how long they've been waiting, but just the hobbies. It kind of like tricks in your head that there's a kid. You gave the numbers. There's this kid out there for you that's probably going to be a great match for you, and you just have to really trust you guys. And I do want to give you guys credit. You guys do a lot of diligence when you're trying to set up those matches. So for any of those that are curious, what all goes into setting up those matches to make sure that the best possible chance for success.
Well, there's a couple things. When you apply, you tell a lot of things about yourself. We review all of that to get familiar with who those people are. During training, I do another screen just to learn about you as an adult who's looking. And then we also ask the kids, what are your interests? What are your passions? What school subjects do you like? Which ones don't you like? How do you describe yourself? And so we try to match up in that way. And then after training, you also return. I mean, can you tell we really take this seriously? We want to know who these people are, because we're trying to help them form a long-term friendship. And once you get assigned to a school, then that facilitator in that school will interview you. So we got 4 hits, I think, there of learning about who you are. So it's not some sort of random thank you, number 44. We're going to put you as student number 44 on our list. We really do try to make sure there's a connection. And in this case, it's a very unusual connection in that they shared a relationship with Cody. But there are people who have instruments in common. There are people who have ability issues in common. There's just all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I think it was last year when I think Teammates had one of my favorite ones. This guy had nothing about video games. He matched up because his mentee was into sports. He was also into video games. But I think they both, when the kid went to college, they'd still hop on and play video games online together.
Yeah.
It's just incredible. You see those relationships happen all the time. So again, LincolnTeammates.org. But Alec, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Going through this process, was mentoring ever an idea for you in the future? Now you've been through Teammates.
It has definitely been through my mind a couple of times, for sure. Because like when you're that little student, whatever you are, like it's a special place in your heart where it's like a safe place with a person that's totally unaffiliated with everything. Not family. It's just a random stranger. And soon you build that trust and become like friends, close friends. And at some point when you graduate, you can continue being friends with that mentor, which I do hope that me and Ed can continue being friends after graduation, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ed, before we wrap up here, I kind of want you to talk a little bit about it as well. You've been through Teammates for a while now, a few mentees. What has kind of been some of your more memorable moments, whether it's Alec, Cody, or one for even each of them, that you're always going to remember, from the day you live on, that this was an awesome moment and I'm always going to cherish that?
Probably with Cody, we often were meeting in the media center and seeing his relationship develop with the media center staff.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they kind of adopted us as teammates, and would be looking around for a quiet table to sit at, and somebody say, "Well, I'm not using my office. We'll leave the door open. You know, we know the rules, but take my office." Or they would reserve in advance, you know, conference room at the side of the library, and would meet there. And so that seeing him be accepted as a welcome participant there at Media Center, he was one of theirs. That was a nice moment. I've had the opportunity with Alec. I also saw Cody perform on the not to be named high school stage.
Okay.
and that was great fun. And seeing him develop to want to do that. With Alec's music, I've been able to go to a couple of his concerts and to be sitting there with my wife and saying that's Alec. You've heard a lot about him. That's Alec.
That's the guy.
The one there in the front. The guy with the cello. And that was a pretty sweet moment too.
Absolutely. And I kind of want to wrap up on those because, again, you know, I think it's one of those things that the more you get involved, the more you get out of it. And I only hear great stories when I come in here. I only hear great things outside of the station too. And that's what tells me it's that you guys do great work. It's not just here at the workplace. You hear about teammates. It's everywhere I'm in Lincoln, and I only hear great things. So again, lincolnteammates.org, and be sure to tune in next week. Tearing out again, that goes 7 Wednesday on out. And again, thank you so much to Ed, Alec, and Christine all for joining me in studio today to represent Teammates and do it in such a great job as well. So we'll go ahead and wrap the rest of your Wednesday night.